Hey everybody, welcome back to Hype Central. Let the words of my mouth, the meditations of my heart, the stewardship of these hands be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. And as you've heard me do many times before, we're going to open up in song. Unto thee, O Lord, do I lift up my soul. Unto thee, O Lord, do I lift up my soul. O Lord, our God, will we trust in thee? Let us not be ashamed. Let not our enemies triumph over us. One more time. Unto thee, O Lord, do I lift up my soul. Unto thee, O Lord, do I lift up my soul. O Lord my God, will I trust in thee? Let me not be ashamed. Let not mine enemies triumph over me. Thank you guys. Once again, we're going to give you what I believe was given to me. But again, we thank God for this time and this session. Just prior to this, we did a summary of the web page that we're excited about. It went online on the 1st. Those that didn't see that video, you can check it out. But it's pretty straightforward navigation. Just follow the prompts and you'll be fine. And just know this, there's more to come. One person at a time. That is our intention. So we thank God for this day. And most of the events we talked about in the prior video, that would be the most recent activity. Going live on the 1st of August with hypecentral.org. So we thank God for that. So we want you to get excited as well. We want you to share as well. And we want you a part of our community. Because for me, the best is yet to come. And if it seems like I'm stalling, I am stalling. But I want to say, as I say many times in my videos, it's first natural and then it's spiritual. Because I heard something this morning, Renee. She talked about me this morning. She said as I was peeling the cover back, she said it was much slower than I normally do as I'm about to get out of the bed in the wee hours of the morning. I don't know why I went that slow. I just did. But before my foot could hit the floor, I heard a word that I didn't use. It's not a word I use. And once I tell you what that word is, you'll know it's, those that know me know it's not a word that I use, but that's what I heard. And that's what I'm going to run with. Not very long. Like I said, those that saw the video prior to this know that we'll be enjoying a moment of respite from the 5th until the 13th, taking a breather, collecting our thoughts, paying attention to any subtle notes from heaven as to what we should do next. But our intent is to reach one person at a time around the world. So let me begin. You hear me say often, first natural, then spiritual. And if you see my eyes go to the left or right, like I said, I'm still getting adjusted to the camera. And I'm allowing the Spirit of God to speak to me at the same time. But first natural and then spiritual. I remember there was a time a number of years ago, and I'm going to give you a caveat after I say all the things I'm going to say, and you'll understand why I want to give you a caveat. Um, I was walking to the train. It was pretty early in the morning. I know it was before 5 a.m. in the morning, and we were in Country Club at the particular time. So I got to the train station. I got up on the platform. For those, this was in Chicago. For those that know Chicago, I was catching the, I think they called it the Metro Electric. So I was standing on the platform waiting for a train. While I was walking to the train station, now mind you, it was probably about, I want to say, maybe 2 miles from where we lived to get to the train. But it was okay. You know, I'm an early bird, so I walked. It was 2 or 3 miles. It was a nice hike. But anyway, once I got to the train, I stood there, and that's usually my time to collect myself, breathe. You're talking about grounding yourself, you know, walking, you're in the elements, listening to the critters that time of morning, insects and all of that. So I do all of that while I'm walking along. But I got to the train station on this particular day, and I saw on the outside, I think a squad car or a police car just hovering around. You know, just, I guess they were on patrol or whatever. So within 5 minutes of having been on the platform, an officer came up on the platform and just walked down the platform. And I already knew on the inside, how many know that sometimes you just know? You just know that, you know, out of the corner of my eye, I saw that. I knew it wasn't over. But anyway, I got up on the train, and I wasn't surprised 5 minutes later, this officer comes up on the platform, and he walks past me, and he walks down the platform. Now, mind you, this time of morning, I'm the only one on the platform. So he walks down the platform, and he comes back, and he looks at me. He says, did you see anything? I looked at him, and I knew it wasn't genuine. And this was his way of trying to figure out who I was, I guess. And I'll explain later in a few minutes. But I will say now, he wasn't me. He wasn't who I am. And that's all he said. I was like, well, what? He didn't say anything. He just walked away and he left the train. He just wanted to know who I was. That would be point number one. There was another occasion where it had snowed pretty bad, and this was in Park, what was it, something Park, on the north side of Chicago. We were living, and then I was walking to the train to catch the train, and this was a different train at a different time. It had snowed pretty heavy, and when I say heavy, the snow was almost up to my knees. So I'm walking down the street, and a police car walks up behind me. I mean, you know, cruises behind me. So I move to the side to let the police car by, and he hollers out of the window, "Get out of the street!" And figuring, just in case he didn't know, I was like, "You see all this snow? How am I supposed to walk down the sidewalk with all this snow?" He says, "Get out of the street." And I was like, "You see the snow? How am I supposed to walk down the street with all that snow? If you don't get off of the street, I'm going to take you in." So, in order to avoid a conflict, I hiked across the snow to get to the sidewalk. To me at the time, I'm thinking you should have been visiting all these residential areas who had not shoveled their snow so I could have access to walk to the train conveniently without having to hike across the snow. But to avoid conflict, and because he was a police officer, it felt like a ride, like he was riding me for no reason. That's fine. But I tell you, I was dripping sweat by the time I got to the train because I just had a workout hiking up and down the snow. Was it fair? No. Was I disappointed? Quite disappointed. because I was pretty wet by the time I got to the train, because he didn't want me walking down the street where it's plowed. But again, in my mind, I'm thinking he just wanted to be honorary. Okay, that's case point number 2. Case point number 3. On this particular time, I was driving to work. My job is downtown Chicago. I parked my car, those that know Chicago, on the other side of Halsted, which was green, because at that particular time you could still park there without having to pay a meter fee or having to look for a parking lot. I wouldn't have minded so much, but I go as early as I did. There was no permit saying you couldn't park there, so that's where I parked. On this particular day, I parked the car and I started walking down, I believe, Van Buren. As I'm walking down Van Buren, I used to carry a shoulder bag. I'm walking down Van Buren again, I think it's before 5 in the morning. And another, police car is rolling down the street. He looks over at me. Now, mind you, this time of morning, the streets are pretty much dead. I'm walking down the street with my shoulder bag, and he stops in the middle of the street in the car. He said, "Where are you going?" Can I just be myself, y'all? So I said to myself very quickly, I am not a young person, quite old at the time. I'm trying to be nice with my age, but the number was well beyond 30. How about that? So in my mind, community, I'm thinking that because of that age, if I wanted to be out on the street all night, it's my choice. I don't have curfew. That's A. Then B, where I'm traveling to in my mind, it's none of your business. So I said to him, like I said, I'm being myself, "Why?" And yes, he was not me. So he says, "I said, where are you headed?" And again, I said, "Why?" Because I'm thinking in my mind, do I need to say? So he proceeds to say, "If you don't tell me where you're going, I'm going to throw you in the back of this car and take you in." So I said, "I'm going to work." "Where do you work?" Can anybody feel me? So I work for NFA. "Do you know what that is?" "Yes, I said it." He said, "Yeah, I know where that is. That's right over whatever." And when he said the street, I was like, "Nah, he don't know where it is. This whole thing is hogwash." So after a few minutes, he pulled off and I proceeded to work. That's case point, is that 3 or 4? Case point 4. I decided to go visit my dad, who at the time lived in Inglewood in Chicago. It was a good visit. In fact, if I be not mistaken, Renee, I